be like, it doesn't need to be that, but it's something we learn how to create movement with, okay? So if we go for lower larynx or high larynx, okay? We make a longer tube, a darker sound, or we create a smaller tube and a brighter sound, just by imitating a child, okay? And that's what we do. So when you think about it, we do it naturally when we read a story to a child and we say, and then Papa Bear came, right? So we elongate our tube and we try to create a bigger instrument so we can create better resonance on the lower frequencies. So we lower the formant. And then the baby said, Daddy. And then we shorten the tube, right? We get a higher larynx because we want to get a smaller vocal tract. That way we get higher formant frequencies. Okay, so those are really basic rules that we all use in our teaching, but when you think about giving an exercise or helping a patient or whatever you do, and you notice maybe a shadow of a formant, or you notice that there's not enough boosting in certain frequencies, you can say, okay, maybe I can choose one of those tactics to help that person. Now the last one is talking about the tongue. Okay, going forward, going up, going down, going back. That also affects, and especially affects the second formant. But it's all about the spaces that we create in our mouth and throat. Okay, so if I create a bigger space in my mouth, or if I create a smaller space, so for example, if I say E, my mouth space is going to be really small relatively to my throat space. My tongue is going to go high. It's going to divide the space in such a way that I'm going to have a really big throat and a really small mouth. Does that make sense? So when I do that E, the first formant is going to be really low, okay? And the second formant is going to be really high. Usually we're going to see it in a male voice, something like 250 hertz versus 2,500. Okay, for the second formant.
It is pretty high for male voice, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But all right, roughly. Okay.
Generalizations. But these are things that you can see, and if we play with those things as a tool, then everything we've seen here as a visualization and the things we can say, okay, so now I identify something, what do I do with it? Well, this is what I do with it. Here are some rules of application that I can start working with and applying some of this stuff, and actually sit around with the Voce Vista and start playing. Just play, you sit there with your mouth and go, okay, I wonder if I can get my first formant up there. Let's see. And then you try raising your larynx, or you try spreading your lips, you try moving your tongue, and you see what it does. So you get more familiarized with what your body can do versus what you see in the computer, which is really fun, I think.
Yes.
Okay. So that was what I wanted to say here. Is there anyone who wants to share something that I know we're not done yet, but since we're going to have a picture, it's a summary pre-last class. Is there anyone who wants to say something they have taken from that class or really learned, they want to share it with everyone, like they had an aha moment or something? Anyone who wants to share something?
Is this a time for me to thank you people for being so? No, it's really, this has been very nice, I have to say. Just it was what I kind of hoped for when I met Penina to begin with. I thought, and going to Israel, that's no joke. I mean, these are people that I admire a great deal, and especially in America, where even in my time, well, very much in my time, the Jewish population has culturally, America has really adapted to that, and I came from, I got into an elite university at Yale, all right? And this was considered at that point elite WASP, whatever. That's it's where Bush, first president. Yeah, that's it. That sort of thing. All right. Well, and then in the 50s, they decided, let's get some public school guys. So I came along. Yeah, I was a sort of smart guy. Yeah, okay, we can use you. And I had a great time there. It was really fun. But the idea that Yale, Harvard, and Princeton would have Jewish presidents, which they have recently, was, no, forget it. I mean, nothing like that. So there's been a huge evolution in America that way. And of course as a musician and as a would-be intellectual, I have a lot of Jewish friends. And I have to say, what is fun here for me, I think of, there was a mayor, a popular mayor in New York, Koch, and he calls himself Koch, you know, that was your kid. Koch, yeah. Ed Koch, yeah, no, he was, and he had a great time and was quite successful. And he said, I treat them all New Yorkers like a big argumentative Jewish family. And that's what we have here, is a big argumentative Jewish family. I love it. I mean, it's because good things come out of that. Anyway, thank you so much. It's been just...
Yes, of course. Yes, we're gonna get Moshe to sing a song for you. But first, let's everyone just do a picture together.
Yeah.
Okay?
We do.
לא, כשראיתי שה-AGG בורח, אז קצת הדקתי את הלחץ.
את הלולאה.
זה לא קורה.
Very nice. How low was he at the end?
Oh, it's just F sharp.
The last one.
The last one? כמה... מה היה?
G.
It is 87.5 hertz. This is a speaking range, you know?
F sharp what?
Not F sharp. This one. He's speaking here, you know? He's a speaking fundamental frequency here. It's F.
It's F.
87.5 hertz.
Okay, but he sang F sharp.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay, well, release him and...
עכשיו עופר!
This is fun.
אם בא לך, כן. זה די תלוי פשוט מה הרמה. נכון.
עופר, איך אתה יושב ליד זהו, שזה קלינאיות תקשורת, To decide Donald, he begins. You have to give him an
Okay. Okay. Go. I'm sorry.
It was very hard to go to high notes because it's...
Yeah.
Thyroid is like...
Hey, I'm awful sorry, but I never started the recording.
Again.
Can you... Yeah, come on, repeat. Wait. Okay, now...
Now you have to get used to it.
There it is. Now we're really going. I'm sorry.
עכשיו אני אומרת שזה יותר קצת.
We can hear it again. Yay.
דיבר גיטרה, זה שם...
עופר זה יותר טוב.
אוקיי.
יותר טוב.
אבל אם תהיה בעיה אני צריכה להתחיל.
אני מוכן ושרוף
Okay, we're gonna do it again?
What do you think? Yes, I think it was better.
לדעתי תעשה את שם בהגברה.
Yeah, that's right.
בהגברה.
I'm gonna
לא,
start.
לא, אני עשיתי קורס החייאה,
I'm gonna try it again. Just a
הכל
minute.
בסדר. אנחנו יודעים להמשיך.
תגביר לי קצת ותשים לי גבוהים. אתם מבינים למה אנחנו כזמרי מיקרופון חייבים את ה... אם אני יושב ועובד עם פסנתר, אם אני עובד עם פסנתר אני לא שומע את עצמי עם פסנתר אקוסטי ואז אני לא יכול לשלוט בקול שלי. אחת, אתה יודע? שם לב? לנו כזמרי מיקרופון המוניטור הוא אקוטי.
אוקיי.
לא. לא כל כך. המיקרופון פה לידי.
זה לא כמו מיקרופון לידי,
Whoa. Okay, are we, tell me when we're ready to go. I will then give the signal. Are we all set?
תגידי מתי, אתם מוכנים? לא, אתה מחכה למשהו מהמיקרופון, נכון?
לא, רגע, זה בכלל שם.
Wait a minute.
זה בכלל הדימר, זה
Wait a minute.
זה שם למעלה? מעולה, מגניב, תגביר
Okay,
קצת ואז אני...
we have to wait a minute for something to do with microphone.
כן, אתה בטוח שהוא עובד? כן, רק תרים גבוהים. גבוהים. כן, תרים גבוהים. תרים אותי טיפה ותרים את התדרים הגבוהים. That's psychoacoustic. When you sing with the microphone in very low loudness, I have to get the response instead of my head.
להתחיל?
תשים לי עוד טיפה גבוהים. כן, תרים את הגבוהים. ואז לא צריך את הגבוהים. מטרי חשמל, יופי, מתוחים על הכל. העולם לי עוד. אני מזמר, מזוני מתקרב. אני מזמר, מזוני מתקרב. שום דבר לא יאבד עוד באיבוד. לא דמדלת הדלתות ובריחת בריחים. הכל יעוד, הכל יעוד. המלאך ירד, המלאך ירד. אני מוכן וסמוך, 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 המלאך
Good. Even better the second time. Okay.
Joking.
When are we out of here?
Donald, we are recording now.
Oh, we're recording? No. We. Oh,
יש עוד מישהו שרוצה לפני שאנחנו מפרקים את
you're
הציור?
right. I thought I had punched it.
Somebody
Never
else,
mind.
maybe
I can cut
טל
that.
בואי.
שאלה בלעלה.
לא נגענו בך.
לא, אבל...
כן?
היית מתי?
אבל הצלחת לעלות
קשה.
איפה שרצית?
קשה לעלות עם זה לציים גבוהים כי זה לוחץ את ההירואית פנימה.
No, and what he's saying that it was hard for him, difficult for him to go
Go
for
to high notes because the thyroid is going backward.
Well,
Instead of being
you know,
tilted
you
forward.
discover some of these things when you, but and when if
It's a bit
there's
chunky.
some elevation, learn.
EGG on one side and power spectrum. No, we'll go to this. There we go. We're seeing power spectrum over here. If I take a bunch of time, I can average these things. So, and it goes up to 10 seconds. You can take up to 10 seconds and put it all together. If an ordinary like this, I get just a slice exactly at that point in time. So there is no time dimension in the power spectrum. There is frequency this way, we've turned it that way, and there is the relative strength of the harmonics. So you can see that quite well. But if I get up high, look, if I'm down here like this, then whatever happens, I can sing away, and I can sing just any old vowel, and wherever there's a harmonic, there's also a formant nearby. But if I get up here, ah, well, okay, I can still see that somewhere around here, there's a formant boosting this harmonic, and there's a formant boosting this harmonic. But exactly where the formants are is a different matter, and it looks to me like this formant is slightly to the right of the third harmonic, and this formant is between the fifth and sixth harmonics. That's just a matter of reading this thing. Now, on the other hand, there's also vibrato where it moves. And we can see, well, I think I've shown you one of these things, but it's worthwhile revisiting. Just a minute. I'm going to...
ניסים, מה זה הקרחץ הזה?
מי עשה ככה?
משהו עשה.
Oh, and I have no book to look this up.
זה סוג של קול.
אבל יש למישהו רוצה ספר לראות משהו.
לי יש.
Never mind. Forget it. Let's not waste good time on that. But it's okay. Thanks.
עד שככה לקחת אותו חזרה.
Look, if I do something with vibrato,
דניאל, אבל יש לך תמשה. ללמוד מדניאל.
here. It's a very narrow vibrato. See, if I get it a little wider, I get into trouble with wobbles. But notice what happens. You see, as the vibrato changes, the dominant formant moves around. And I can go through that. I showed you slowly. I go to analysis, and I want audio only. No, I want audio egg. I couple the audio and the two signals, and then I can go slowly through here with arrows. And I can make it, in fact, do it 10 times as fast this way while you reshift. So you see how the formants, the harmonics move with vibrato. So anyway, there's a way of averaging things, and that's what we have with long time average spectra, and that can be, there's some examples of this in the book. Now, if I want to see what's going on in the high frequencies, in the singer's formant area, that's not so easy to show with vocal fry. You see, if I do this, here. Where's my microphone? Oh, trying again. If I put these things together, this way, there, and now comes the fry. Well, all right, so here's the first formant. That looks pretty good. First formant, something like that. That makes sense. Here just to the right of the third harmonic. Here's the second formant, and that's in between these two. Also makes good sense. Here's the third formant. Okay. So, yes, we could see it. But for the higher formants, it's not so easy to see exactly where they are in vocal fry. So we try a method like this. I'm going to do a chromatic scale over a fourth, and I'll do it this way. Just unfreeze. First, I need to set my power spectrum averaging. I'm going to take it for, well, let's take it for, say, 4 seconds. And then it will average it all together for 4 seconds. Return to display. And when do I start? Play. No. I'm going to start again. Run. Record file. I guess that's what I'm shit. I don't know what I'm doing. Yes. Sorry, guys. Yeah, you see, it goes very slowly this way. Now I'm going to record. We need to make that. All right, I'm going to add it to this here. LTAS, long time average spectrum. Stop. We're going to try again. I'm going to go higher. Freeze. Upsilon. Oops. Yes, I would like to replace it. No. It won't do it. I'm sorry.
Could you explain what you're trying to show? Cheat by
I will explain while you figure this out.
Oh, and it,
מה שהוא מנסה לעשות,
כן.
להביא איפה ה-long
הלונג טרם הזה, זה היכולת שלו בעצם להקליט, כמו שהוא אמר, אני אקליט עכשיו 4 שניות, הוא עושה סולם פורמטי, והמטרה היא בסופו של דבר לדעת איפה הפורמט שלו ואה. עכשיו מה הבעיה? כשאנחנו עושים נגיד vocal fry, שאנחנו רוצים לזהות איפה הפורמטים, או שאנחנו בצלילים גבוהים כמובן, בכלל קשה לנו לאתר אותם. אבל בווקל פריי גם לא בטוח שהתנועה שלנו תהיה ממש אמינה. זאת אומרת, האם בווקל פריי התנועה שלי זו אותה תנועה כשאני אעשה כשאני אשאיר ציוד גבוה. אז לא משנה כמה אנחנו ננסה להתאים את עצמנו, הטכניקה הזו מאפשרת לו בעצם לקחת דגימה של כמה שניות, שבודקת בממוצע איפה הפורמט שלו יושב. אז הוא מנסה עכשיו בעצם לייצר את זה נקרא long term
Long time.
אבל הוא לא עושה צליל. אז בכל צליל זה יהיה קצת אחרת, לא?
בכל צליל זה יהיה קצת אחרת, אז הוא לוקח את הממוצע של איפה הפורמט הזה.
אבל למה זה צריך להיות הרמת בעצם אחרת אם הוא יורד בעצם, אוקיי? למה הפורמט צריך להשתנות?
בגלל שאנחנו משנים בין תו לתו, לפעמים את המיקום שלנו, מתאימים את הגרון שלנו.
אנחנו בני אדם ולכן אנחנו פגומים.
They were asking why
why
not use a glide of the sandal.
Okay, because a glide is produced quite differently from the singing voice. You see, you want to see what real singers do. And you go, ah! No, that's not really going to show
No,
me.
but you went down.
Yeah, but right, I can go, ah! The same thing.
No, in the scale you went, ah!
Yeah, but because I'm singing, that's the whole point.
Ah.
So it includes vibrato, I mean, it includes
Okay,
the way I
okay,
would normally
okay,
sing.
okay. Okay.
Okay. Now, let's see if I can finally succeed at this. Okay. There, stop. And this ought to maybe, you know what, I just may have lost my way in this. But let's see if we can play it back. Play for my melody.
עכשיו אני צריך לפתוח אותה ממש ככה.
Yeah, well, okay, it's not being terribly cooperative, I'm sorry to say, but what we see here is, what we should be seeing is where the formants are located. Let me just try one more attempt. No, I'm going. This is not taking place.
הפורמנס, שאומרים הפורמנס זה ה-H1, זה לא בדיוק, נכון?
זה לא בדיוק.
באזור.
תמיד באזור.
כן.
כאילו, אם אני רואה מחקר שאומר זה בדיוק, זה משהו לא בסדר.
אם זה בדיוק, אז יש שם שבירה בתכלס. כאילו, הפורמט צריך להתקרב אל ההרמוניה ולתת לה איזשהו בוסט והרמה. אם הם ישבו אחד על אחד, כאילו 256, 256 הרץ, יהיה ביטול של פאזה. זה כמו מינוס עד מינוס שווה פלוס. הם פשוט לא נשמע אותו כל כך טוב. זה גם כמו, יכול מאוד להיות שתהיה שבירה פוליטית. כל הרעיון ברגיסטרציה זה שכשההרמוניות עוברות דרך פורמט, זה מעבר קשה. אז
דרך חתחתים.
כן.
מסלול אתגרי. אבל יש את הקטע של, תקני אותי אם אני טועה, שהפורמט זה בעצם איזשהו ספייס, נכון? זה לא תדר אחד, זה איזשהו...
זה תדר שהחלל רוצה לחזק.
לא, אבל כשאומרים פורמט, מתכוונים זה תדר אחד, הפורמט הוא תדר אחד, או שיש לו טווח מסוים?
יש בזה היגיון.
יש לו טווח.
לא, אבל האם אין בזה היגיון, נגיד, אני אנסה אולי את השאלה מחדש, אם פנינה אומרת, אוקיי, יש חלל מסוים, נגיד שאני עושה whatever, או אני עושה כל דבר, יש חלל מסוים, הוא תומך בתדר מסוים, הוא אוהב להגביר אותו.
טווח תדרים.
זהו, אז השאלה היא, זה לא הגיוני שבעצם הוא יגביר את אותו תדר ואת ההרמוניות של אותו התדר?
לא כל כך, הטווח לא כל כך גדול, לא כל כך רחב.
ממש לא. הטווח הוא באזור ה-50 הרץ, משהו כזה.
פלוס מינוס.
פלוס מינוס, אבל בהחלט, בגלל זה לפעמים מספיק שיש לי פורמט ב-250 ואני שרה ב-300, זה עדיין יכול לתת לי איזשהו כוח. אבל הפורמט הוא באזור מסוים.
לא, אבל לא הגיוני שהוא, זאת אומרת, אם הפורמנט דוחף או מגביר, סתם אני אומר, 300 הרץ, אז הוא לא יעשה איזשהו אפקט דומה גם ל-600 הרץ?
לא, למה?
כי זה אוקטבה למעלה.
לא, אבל זה לא קשור. פורמט הוא לא כמו הרמוניה.
זהו, זאת השאלה בעצם.
פורמנט לא קשור למקור הקול.
לא, ברור, אני יודע שזה לא
הפרדה
קשור.
בין קודש וחול.
לא, ברור, זה הבנתי.
לא,
אני שואל שאלה פיזיקלית, בדיוק, אני פשוט לא יודע מה קורה.
ברגע שהגברת משהו בסורס,
נו.
הסורס עכשיו יותר מבסוט.
סבבה.
באופן כללי, כל ההרמוניות שלו מבזוטיות כי יש מישהו שייצר איזושהי הגברה, יותר קל לו לתפקד.
הבנתי.
אבל אם הגברתי באזור מסוים, זה לא אומר שהגברתי גם באזור אחר.
הבנתי,
כן.
הבנתי. אוקיי, מקובל.
You know what? I've got a much better one, which is
כי יש EQs אגב שאני עושה את זה.
You know what I did when I read this
אני
part
אגיע
and
לזה
I wasn't
מתישהו.
sure how to do it?
Yeah.
I went online and I found Scott McCoy's YouTube
מתישהו אני אגיע
tutorial on how to do it.
Oh, good for you.
Say what?
Oh, that's not, you know, that sounds funny, and you know what I'm doing is, I have to show you this. You see, you get this slope, that is the EGG signal being played instead of the audio signal.
cool.
So that's Frank
And you
Lloyd
can
right
always
over
tell
there.
because it has this regular slant down. So you go to analysis and you switch audio channel order. I haven't been through all this, but I mean, you know, it takes too much time. So now we're going to do it right, left. All right. Go ahead, die. I'm going to start again. Reset. Play file. 10-1. And open. Okay. Yeah.
למה זה נשמע בהקלטה הזאת מצפצפת כזאת? למה זה נשמע ככה?
Notice this, by the way. You see, he's moving around, but this is very strong resonance right here at 27. That is dominates the whole thing, and he's got an also strong resonance here. The singer's formant is a combination of what you get in the third and fourth and fifth. Here's the fifth. You see, and they work together, so this makes a kind of cluster. This is how the singer's formant works. How do you get a good singer's formant? That is much trickier, but generally speaking, if the first and second formants are fairly close together, that helps also to bring the third and the fourth together. But those are details. Look, the point is that this is a very strong singer's formant guy, and here is his fourth formant at nearly 2700, okay, and here is his third formant at 2250. So what does that amount to? 450 hertz apart. Well, okay, but it's close enough to really get it up there. And he also, if we look at, it's a large closed quotient.
There is a question here,
Yes.
Donald, from
So there's a kind of split in what happens to robust male voices on top. And the not so robust male voices do something different, and that's also in the chapter. So this is, it's not like there's only one way to process things when we get up high. But this is a high close quotient guide. And as you can see it there, now the delay in his case is not 70, but it's something like 150. And I have to change that. I'm going to analysis. Now I'm going to change the delay, so I have to go back and separate the audio and EEG signals. And I've done it, and now I'm going to say 150. There we are. You see, when he's up there like that, he has a close quotient of like, it's 3/4 closed, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth harmonic is the really strong one. And notice that the sixth loop of this one comes after in the opening phase. But yet we have a very strong standing wave that keeps tickety-tickety riding along. It doesn't die in the middle at all. Okay. I want to show you that because this is particularly tight close quotient. In fact, too much, I would say, which you can hear. Yes, I'll play it for you. Reset, play file. This is high B. Oh. Oh, why do you go away? Well, never mind. But notice that it's the doesn't want to stay. All right. The fifth harmonic emerges as the really strong one. I mean, by almost 20 decibels. I mean, it's kind of crazy. That, I think, is not a good idea. That's overdoing it, even though it's, say, too much of a good thing. Anyway, I want to show you that, and a little bit of averaging will also smooth out the roughness of fry. So if you want to see clean fry, now what I'm going to do is just a little bit of averaging. I'm going to reset, go to analysis, and instead of showing 3,600 milliseconds, we'll go to, say, 300 milliseconds, 400 milliseconds, 400 milliseconds will do. All right. Now I'm going to run. So if let's say I'm looking for using vocal fry to find out where the formants are. Now let's take this. Okay. And I want to see them both. So we go to this, and I have now, oops, I have You see, I get with a few hundred milliseconds a very clean fry, whereas normal fry is messy. Now I'm going down here. And this is fry. Why am I? No. Oh. Now I should be able to play these things back, and I'm really. You know what? I mean, I don't understand. Are you guys? I don't want to sit here and drive myself crazy in front of you. That would be is a terrible way to end up things. We should do something useful instead. You try one more time. I get very clean EGG this way. And notice, by the way, this is the vowel that for me spaces the formants more or less evenly. You're about to kick me out?
Yeah, finish it. Summarize.
Okay.
יש כאן שאלה, עוד שאלה.
One
You know
question
what?
though.
Okay.
There's a question.
Go ahead, question.
מעיין,
Get away from me.
there is a question from the audience.
כן.
מעיין, את רוצה לשאול?
לא.
מעיין is asking about, she has students that are not satisfied with their timbre of voice. Timbre. Timbre.
Timbre
Oh,
sounds.
yeah, we say timbre. It's
Timbre, with a timbre, yeah.
pseudo French.
Yeah, so the students are not satisfied with the timbre, with their timbre, and she asks, can it be seen in the? I think personally it can be seen in the spectrum because I think timbre is connected to the spectral envelope that comes from the glottis, right?
Okay, look.
Also.
But timbre is a very complex thing that we judge by ear. You know, you hear this thing. So it includes. Obviously, it includes where the formants are.
Okay.
That tells you something. It will, in the balance of the harmonics, all of this, but it also includes vibrato. And the vibrato is also doubly complex because that is both the frequency and the extent.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you can kind of, you don't get simple data, this is this and that kind of timbre, but you can look at it and then, I recognize these things.
Can I add to that?
Yes.
Because Donald showed us today mix versus belt versus more classical production. Those were things that lower spectrum, it's easier to see actually, because you can see which of the harmonics are being boosted. So if you want to put a student next to it, and you actually, one of my favorite new exercises, instead of doing a messa di voce, or just dynamics, play on a variety of colors. So if you start with a play with the vowels as well, and just see how it affects. This was not a great example, but you get the idea, and how you can actually play with the different colors and let them experience, and perhaps somewhere along those extremes from 0 to 100, there's like a place that they do like, you know, and they can stay there. So if they go from and they say, okay, not so much, and they find something that they kind of like there in the middle, you can actually visualize it to them, and actually as a teacher also tell them, well, that was more on that vowel, on the other vowel, let's try to take your song in that direction and play with it. And I'm sorry for my tired demonstration, but I think...
Oh, no, that's a very good point, very good point. I mean, this is exactly what we do. We're fishing, you know, we're looking for, but something like timbre is really complex, and when it's complex, then you've got a bunch of things that you have to consider at once. And this is, if I could, this reminds me of that I like to start with just looking at EGG and thinking about various elements, like is how much closing do I go? I'm not thinking about the sound, I'm just getting the closing right. Then I'm getting into, I want very strong, large closed quotient. Well, let's back off. Can I leap from one note to another on the same thing? All of these things, you're judging and varying at the same time. And then you have it recorded, you can even listen back and say, well, okay, that was better. And I think this is exactly the kind of thing you're talking about. I mean, you settled on something, so, oh, okay, that's good. Can we use that kind of approach on a different vowel? Well, no, it only works with front vowels or with back vowels or whatever. But yes, complex judging. You don't replace it with a robot who says, yeah, that's the good. Yes.
Yeah, she wants to ask in Hebrew, so I'll translate.
זה קצת יותר מיועד אלייך.
אוקיי.
כאילו בעבודה המעשית, מבחינת שאני בודקת את הפורמנס על ידי ווקל פריי, או על ידי הכרומטיקה שהוא עשה. איך אני יכולה בפועל להביא, אוקיי, אז גיליתי שהפורמנס שלי יותר אוהב להיות בתדר, פורמנס ראשון נגיד ב-220, והשני ב-660, לא משנה. אז איך אני יכולה להביא את זה בפועל בעבודה גם עם עצמי וגם עם תלמיד? ואיך אני יכולה להיות בטוחה שזה האזור שהפורמנס שלי אוהב להיות בו?
Okay. I kind of want to show. Okay. What I'm working on now, and I will show it to you later, Donald, as well, is creating an individual map to people's voices. And creating that like form and chart, just a basic 5 Italian vowels and the schwa, and I think I showed it to you. Okay. Yes, and then you can actually mark that on the chart. If we had internet, I may have been able to show it to you all. Do you want to see it? Do you want me to show her? Because she was asking.
It's okay to go. I think that would be quite okay.
Okay, so we can be that specific, but we can also just use the piano that I gave you in that course, where you have the format ranges, and then you just know that, okay, if I find his vowel being on 260 as the first format, for example, and I want to have some kind of belting, this is not the right vowel, right? Because it's too low. There's nothing you can do there. So 260 is going to be probably E or U,
Right.
right? So it's not going to help us very much when we want to create, especially for female voice, where you want your first formant to be on the second harmonic. There's not a lot you can achieve there. And you know the highest first formant you get on A for most voices. So you can
Or
play,
A.
or A, right.
Right. Oh.
So you can definitely play with that and with the formant ranges that I gave you on the piano and say, okay, I want to enforce the second harmonic, meaning if my singer wants to sing C5, I actually want to enforce C6, meaning I need a formant that can achieve that 1000 hertz position, which is going to be high larynx, probably sort of thing. And if I'll be able to show it, then I'll show it. If not, then I guess on another opportunity. But definitely the idea of creating individual maps to students' voices is something I'm working on as a tool for applications, if that works or not.
And also, Donald, you can save each recording and each G footage. You can save it.
You can save the bitmaps, you can say, in other words, this, and you save the sound.
Yeah.
Sure, we haven't been through the various things you can do, but that's all pretty clear. By the way, I finally sort of found what I was doing here. This is a question of, is my vocal fry an accurate reflection on what happens when I'm singing? Because that's important. You know, if you're just going vocal fry and doing it because, because it sounds different. No, that takes some discipline to say, okay, this is a way of checking it. Notice, here's my first formant, and if I look then on the power spectrum of the sung sound, I get, yes indeed, there it is in between harmonics 2 and 3. Here's the second formant, and wait a minute, this is actually a good distance lower, not huge distance, but there's some error in there. You expect error when you're just doing this, but you can get better at it as time goes on. Here's the third formant. Whoa, it looks like it's actually there. So there's another difference there. Here's the fourth formant, and that's in between here somewhere. Yeah, all right. But anyway, that's just to show you some interesting complexity that you can run into.
Basically, this is just like a power spectrum, and I can just do different vowels.
We can't see anything.
Yeah, it's not on the
קיבלתי את ה...
בסדר, אני כבר מסיימת.
את שלחת לנו
בסדר.
מייל.
כן, אבל לא לכל אנשים פה.
ולא ידעתי מה לעשות עם זה. מאוד התפעלתי מהצבעים.
So I can basically give a color to each of those lines that I'm getting in the graph. And I don't choose the color, I just choose the graph. If I did an A or I did an A, okay, it automatically chooses the color for me, and then I can see on the piano if I'm in the right range. So we don't have to memorize all the ranges of the formants like I try to. It's on the piano there. You can see the blue ranges. And then you can just mark the formants. It pretty much does it for you. So basically the idea is that you get a map of someone's voice. And you can see how now, if you can see, I now automatically have points on the piano. Okay? I have blue points on the piano that show me where those formants are. So now if the singer wants to sing a particular note, and I'm going to do that for each and every vowel, I'm going to have an individual piano for each student with their little colors on the piano, and I'll know, okay, I have a source of power there that I can play with, and if I'm in between, I know I need to adjust the vowel a little bit, but it just gives me room to play. So this is something, to answer your question, this is a bit further along of what we can really do to kind of just sit down and analyze and then get some real individual answers about each and every voice. But we don't have to do that. We can right now just apply some general concepts of saying, okay, if you don't do E and you do more a little bit of A, it will solve your problem because I know how the spaces work. Yeah, it makes sense?
But also in Voce Vista you can save each
Yes.
individual recording, so
Yes.
you also can have like a file of your
And the
students.
brilliant thing is here is once you've decided on a strategy, you can, like you did, you can compare between the two and show the student, okay, this is what you were doing before, this is what we just did in the lesson, see how much you've improved and what difference it made, you know, so this is really good. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that we've run out of time, haven't we, indeed? Okay. Anyway, I don't really have anything more to say because I've already said I'm grateful for being here. I think it's worked out wonderfully, and this is how it ought to happen, you know, and we'll all learn. And even if it's various stages along the way, not everybody, some people are much more advanced than others, and some people are still, wait a minute, you know, what is this? But with help, if somebody can, that makes all the difference. This is an enormous help for seeing what's going on. It hasn't been really embraced enough in the 20 years that we've had Voce Vista available. Because, well, several reasons, but it just is complex. And it takes time, and it really helps to have people you can share things with and ask questions. And that's what you've got here, so it's great. I hope that this is not the last time that I will see some of you people in here. We'll find out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.